And welcome to the podcast, guys, with Nando.
And Roberto.
All right, Roberto. So, what is our topic for the evening?
So today we are going to be talking about
Why men have commitment issues.
commitment issues are something that I hear a lot of women talk about. So ever since we started this podcast, we've actually had a couple DMs from women where they're like, "Oh, we want to come on your show and we want to talk about why guys have commitment issues." So apparently this is a topic that a lot of women are interested in. So I figured we might as well just make an episode on it. So here's what I want to start with, right? Realistically, if you look at most guys between the ages of like 18 and 30, I don't believe that most guys have the issue of commitment issues. I think most guys have the opposite issue. They want to commit, but they get friend zoned, or they want to commit, or the girl doesn't like them. So most guys, I don't think suffer from commitment issues.
It's more of a fear, if anything.
It's more of a fear, if anything. What women are referring to when they say commitment issues, they're talking specifically about the period where they're dating a guy for a few years and they're serious and they're waiting for that next step. They're waiting for the guy to propose. They're waiting for the marriage, the kids, and that part of life. So that is a real thing. Guys do have an issue with committing in that sense, and I guess you could call that commitment issues. So that's what today's episode will be about. So you want to start it off, like, why would a guy have commitment issues when it comes time to like the real deal, like committing to one woman for the rest of your life, getting married, having kids? Where would those commitment issues come from?
The big thing is trust. Fear of trusting a woman. Can you put your trust in her? If she's the type that could possibly cheat, if she's the one that can divorce you, because again, we're looking at approximately 80% of women going about taking the first step towards a divorce. So it's tough to trust a woman nowadays with cheating and with starting the divorce process.
And I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. My real true belief is that I don't think guys have an issue with committing. I think guys like committing. You know, like if you're with a girl, think about it, right? If you're with a girl that you like and you've been dating her for 2-3 years, the issue isn't that you don't want to commit to her. I think where guys get freaked out and they just like I've heard multiple stories over the years where typical scenario, right? A guy will date a girl, he'll propose to her, and randomly he'll just eject out of the relationship. Like he'll propose to her and then just one day he'll just completely disappear. Here's why it's happening. It's not because he doesn't want to commit to you. It's happening because he's having this fear, this like dreadful fear of what's going to happen if we get divorced. What's going to happen if we get married and this doesn't work out? How is this going to end up if all this goes to shit? That's what he's scared about. So it's not that he's scared of committing to you. He's concerned about the repercussions of divorce. He's concerned about the repercussions of having a kid and the relationship not working out. You have to understand, when a guy commits to you and like he gets to that point in his life where he's like, okay, I'm 30, 35 years old. I've been dating this girl and I want to take my life to the next level and commit to this girl through marriage. It's a major shift mentally, physically, financially, and it could really affect the rest of your life. And I think that pressure and understanding that, like, look, I think guys are aware nowadays that if we're being real right now, all opinions and all emotions aside and everything, divorce rates are pretty high, 50%. So when you get married, you have about a chance of flipping a coin, 50-50, of staying married or getting divorced. So that's already like the odds aren't really the best, right? But fine. Okay, so we get married anyway. 70% of women are initiating divorces. The repercussion for guys is far worse than it is for women. Can you agree?
I agree. I mean, think about it. When you're in a relationship with a woman, you have to worry about is if she's going to cheat on you, is if she's going to be a disappointment. If you're married to her, if she's going to pull the rug from under your feet and say, oh, I want to get a divorce for any reason whatsoever, that feeling is not a good feeling. And when men have that feeling, of course, they're going to have that fear because men have more to lose than women have to lose. So it's a sad situation because no guy wants to feel that way. And I'm sure no woman wants their man to feel that way about them. But based on the way things have been going on in society nowadays, it's inevitable.
Here, I got a perfect analogy for everyone, right? Let's say you always wanted to go skydiving, right? You always want to go skydiving, and you finally get to the point where, like, you know what? Next week I'm going skydiving. I'm going on Saturday. And then you turn on the news, and the news tells you 70% of skydivers, the parachute isn't opening. That would make you completely shift your mindset. It's not that you don't want to go skydiving. You do want to go skydiving. You believe in it, and you think it's a fun thing, and you want to go do it. But now you look at it, you go like, oh man, 70% of people are the parachute's not opening. So that will, correct me if I'm wrong, that will affect your mentality on it. You may say, well, you know what, I might go bungee jumping instead. You know what I mean? Or maybe I'll go on a roller coaster and get that exhilarating feeling a different way. My point is ultimately is that it's not that guys don't want to commit. I think most guys do want to commit. I think it's male nature. Like, I mean, come on, if you're dating a girl for a few years, it's not that you're going like, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, the reason that's happening is because guys have a tremendous amount of pressure, understanding that there's a very good chance they're going to get divorced. You're bringing a human being into the world. Once you bring that human being into the world, if she divorces you, there's a chance that child may get taken away from you. So I'm telling you, like, honestly speaking, financially, emotionally, there's a lot of pressure on guys, and they don't have the proof that this is like working. You know, if I wish I could sit here and tell you that majority of marriages are working out, families are happy, depression rates are at an all-time low, failed marriages are at an all-time low, but it's the opposite. So when a guy when it comes to that point where a guy's like, I'm about to walk into that zone where my life is about to change forever, you can't really blame him for saying, like, I need to back at this and think about it.
Well, think about it. If the majority of relationships and the majority of marriages were working out, would we be even having this conversation right now? It wouldn't even be a conversation. It wouldn't be a topic. Why would you talk about something that's not really happening as much? But due to the fact that there's a lot of divorces happening, there's a lot of breakups and relationships happening, of course, the men are going to have fear for that because the thing is that they have more to lose than women have to lose. So you can't blame them. You can't blame them.
Yeah. And, going back to like commitment, a guy will commit to a sports team at the age of 10 and stay with that sports team for the rest of his life. Even if they haven't won in 30 years, they haven't won a championship in 30 years. Guys don't have an issue committing to things. When they like something, they like it. They'll stay with it for the rest of their lives. It's not that guys have a fear of commitment or commitment issues. Women have an interesting way of really spinning this on guys, because whenever they don't like something, they'll throw it back at the guy like it's an issue. He's insecure. He's immature. He has commitment issues. No. Think about it from the guy's perspective for a second. If you're a woman watching this, I want you to really stop and ask yourself, if you were a guy and you were about to step into a marriage, you're about to propose to your girlfriend, knowing the stats, would you really be confident knowing that there's a 50% divorce rate, 70% of women are initiating divorces, that if you get divorced, you're going to have to pay child support for 18 years? You would feel good about that? You would feel confident about that, stepping into that?
As a guy, I wouldn't. I would want to avoid it completely. And I would suggest to all men out there to avoid marriages, because the thing is that the numbers speak for themselves. If you're looking at about, you said 70, I would say 80 to maybe even higher, 80% or higher, the divorce rates initiated by women.
Yeah.
It's insane what's going on, and it's unfortunate, but you have to take steps to avoid the situation that you could potentially be in.
And this is not to say in any way that we're against marriage or having kids. again, I'm going to speak on behalf of most guys. I think most guys would love to have a family, a wife, and kids. And just like, what's the saying? Like, guys date idealistically, women date opportunistically. Okay? I'm going to say that again. Guys date idealistically, women date opportunistically. So, guys would love to have this ideal scenario where they have a wife and kids and a house and a pet and everything is great. But unfortunately, real life doesn't work that way. If you look at the stats, if you look at what's really happening, look at the last 10 years and just go do your own research at what's actually happening with these marriages. And like what percentage of these married couples are staying married? What percentage of these marriages are the wife and husband monogamous? What percentage of these married couples are the people actually happy? And then ask yourself, like, is it really a commitment issue, or is it really like an issue of this just isn't working? You know what I mean?
I mean, thing is that the ladies out there, and again, I know there's going to be some hate against this.
How dare you?
But ladies out there are looking for a fairy tale. And fact of the matter is that most men aren't going to provide that fairy tale relationship, marriage, or whatnot. So if you're looking at having some sort of fairy tale, some sort of dream, like, oh, the man that I'm with is going to provide A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and he doesn't, well, you're setting yourself up for some sort of failure. Why put yourself through that? Why go in that direction? Why not be realistic about the guy you're with, the future that you can create with that man? Listen, again, life isn't roses and daisies. But if you take the best steps to go about creating a life with a man or creating a family, and you're realistic about it, there's no reason why it can't be successful.
Society, unfortunately, teaches us all types of lies, you know, and social media takes part in this as well. This idea of like, we deserve the best. There's always a better option. There's so many options. So because I have so many options, I deserve to choose the best one. And, you know, traveling and high-end lifestyle, and all this is like really just a facade, because at the end of the day, I guarantee you, right? If you were to approach anybody that's been in a real successful long-term committed marriage, right? Somebody that's been married for like, what have you, like maybe like somebody that's in their like 60s, they've been married for 40, 50 years, and you were to sit them down and really ask them, like, what made your relationship work? What kept you guys happy over the years? I guarantee you most of this stuff that's like really common nowadays, that's popular, that it would have nothing to do with it. And social media, like I said, it teaches people like, oh, you have all these options and go travel here and there and like fancy restaurants and fancy vacations and all stuff. So people see this and like they of course, like when you see it every day, you're gonna look at your own life and go like, oh, well, I want that too. When you see the grass is greener on the other side, you're always gonna chase that. And you could really, the truth is, you could spend your whole life chasing that. But real life, real marriage, happiness, family. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. Like you look at some of like the poorer countries, right? And ironically enough, some of the poorer countries, they have a higher rate of happy people. These people have very little money, but they have what matters in life. They have their family, they have their kids, they have like very minimal. They don't have even a fraction of what we have in the Western world, but they're happy. Like you could see they're living a happy lifestyle. They're smiling, they're laughing. And oddly enough, here we are in America. We have pretty much access to everything. We have all the freedoms, and we can do whatever we want. We have jobs and careers and social media and all this stuff. And we have the highest rates of depression and suicide and drug addiction. How does that work? What's the reason behind that?
Well, the thing is that folks are wired to want more. Think about it. Hypergamy. Women want the best guy. And if they have a guy, but they see a better guy out there, what are they going to do? They're going to go after that man. And then if they get that man and they see another guy that's better than that guy, then they're going to go after that guy. They're just going to want to go higher and higher and higher. It's like going up the food chain, trying to get the best out there. It's understandable. I mean, the thing is that it shouldn't be that way because you should appreciate what you have. If you're married and it's till death do us part, then it's till death do us part. It's not.
And again, I think that really comes down to modern values. If you were to really ask yourself, like as Americans, as like a Western society, what are our values? If you were to ask the typical person in the U.S., what are your values? I mean, obviously the answers would be completely all over the place, but like, what do you really value? It's kind of hard to answer, right?
I think a lot of the answers that we would get are my iPhone, my Instagram, my vacations, the money that I make at work.
There you go. What people value will dictate their actions. So and I think that's the core thing. So, originally we started this episode talking about like, guys having commitment issues. I think that's just really a result of everything else that's going on. It's not that guys don't want to commit. If you were to line up 100 guys and like give them the opportunity to commit to like a woman that they're attracted to, I would say probably like 90 of them would say yes. It's not that they don't want to commit. Guys are, guys tend to be a little bit more logical and less emotional when it comes to this type of stuff. You can't blame them. Guys aren't going to commit to going to a casino where the casino has a 90% house edge.
It's about the repercussions and consequences of what the guy will go through if he does commit. No guy wants to go through some nonsense where they're.
I said this in a previous episode. I wish I could sit here and tell you with a straight face that women reward loyalty and giving and being this like positive, good person to them, but they don't. And it's crazy to me because women always complain that they want a good guy that provides to them, that's loyal to them, that praises them, but their actions don't show that. What women say and what women do are two different things. Women don't want a good guy. For the women that are watching, your actions don't prove that you want a good guy. You're sleeping with the guy that got out of jail, the guy with tattoos, the guy that cheats on you, the guy that they like that chase. They like that drama. Women don't want good guys.
And if the women say that they want good guys, they want commitment, that they're willing to stay with their guy for however long it takes.
Stop the cap.
Ladies, stop lying to yourself. Stop the cap. If you see a guy that's better out there, don't lie to yourself. You're going to go for that.
Gotcha, bitch.
You're going to go for that, and you'll do whatever it takes to get that guy. Whether you're in a relationship, whether you're married. It's crazy nowadays. They'll risk it all.
At what point a woman wants a good, honest, faithful man? When they reach the wall. What is the wall? Look, every woman's going to go through this in her life. From the moment that you turn 18, and it could be 30, it could be 35, it could be 45, depending how you take care of yourself. But every woman will reach a point where they will just reach their peak attractiveness, and from there, it declines. You're going to start to get older. You're going to start to be less attractive. And you're also competing with the younger, more attractive women. And you're going to reach a point where you're no longer going to be the girl that's getting into clubs for free, that's getting all the attention and the DMs, and guys are Venmoing you and giving you all the attention. And then your options start to become very limited. You go from having unlimited options to limited options to almost no options.
And that's when they appreciate the men that
and then
are
all of a
reaching
sudden,
out.
And then all of a sudden, the good guy becomes
in demand.
A possible option.
I would say very in demand.
Yeah.
When you're hitting your 30s, I mean, fertility-wise, it's going downhill. It's unfortunate to say. Again, not a lot of ladies are going to like that. But again, the older you get, the less opportunity you have of having a child that's very healthy.
Now, look, I like to kind of spin this around. So women claim that guys have commitment issues, right? So if it's guys that have commitment issues, then explain to me why 70% of divorces are initiated by women. What is commitment? Commitment is agreeing to a long-term contract, commitment, whatever you want to call it, right? So why, if 70% of women are initiating divorces, by the numbers, it tells me that women have commitment issues. They're the ones that are not committing. They're the ones that are giving up and saying like, "Oh, this doesn't work for me. I deserve better."
I would say the ladies are in denial here. If they're the ones saying that men are the ones having trouble committing, I would say the opposite. I would say if a relationship or a marriage is on the brink of falling apart, then they're the ones who are trying to keep it together. The guys are trying to keep it together, not the ladies. It's just what it is. And
women want that initial commitment. That's what they're saying. It's not about committing long term. Committing long term to women doesn't mean shit. Let's just fucking put that on the table right now. You putting yourself forward, be like, I want to commit to you long term. That's not a turn on for women.
No, not at all. And
they want that initial commitment, but they only want that initial commitment from the guy that they're attracted to, that provides said value to them, so on and so forth. That's, you know what I'm saying? They want that initial commitment from the guy that they want. But that guy will step in, commit to them. 15 years later, you have a divorce and a disaster. So commitment, let's just call it for what it is. As a guy, it's not a good bet. It's not a good bet at all. Committing to him, it doesn't give you shit.
Pretty much. I mean, the thing is that, ladies, let's face it. We're not requiring you as men to go out there and be a boss babe. Go get it. Go get your money. Go get rich. Men are leaders. Women are followers. Guys are going out there, waking up at 6, 7, 8 a.m. to go and provide for you and for the family if you have kids and whatnot. Of course, you'll be all up in arms and saying, well, I do the same thing. Well, yes, you women do the same thing, but you're not required to do that same thing. You do it by choice. If you're with a man, the man is going to go out there and do what it takes and make the money. The man does not care about your money. He's going to make the money for himself and for you as the wife and for the family to provide for that child or for the children. So there's not going to be any guy out there that's expecting anything monetary-wise from you because he knows that he has to be the one devoted to go out there and get it.
Here's what I learned. Once a woman decides that she wants something in her life, that thing, that relationship, that car, that lifestyle, that whatever it is, once a woman really sets her mind on it, she will do anything and everything to get it. And that's like a pretty big difference between men and women because guys are far simpler. We're okay with like a more simple lifestyle. But when a woman decides like, I want that vacation, I want that car, I want that house, I want that relationship, I want kids, I want marriage, they will do anything and everything to get it.
Guys, real quick, before we continue and finish off here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit the notification button. Again, we're just starting out here. We're giving you all the information that we can give you to help you out, both men and women. Again, for men, it's really to watch out for, and for the women, is to understand where guys are coming from. So everybody can learn from this. We are coming from good intentions, not bad. But again, we can't control what people think. Unfortunately, there's going to be some haters out there. It is what it is. But let's continue. Why men have commitment issues? I say another issue would be fear of rejection.
Yeah, I think that's really what it boils down to is, so okay, the guy's dating. Let's create a scenario. The guy's dating a girl for 2 or 3 years. Great relationship. They're both loyal to each other. And now there comes that time. Do I propose to her or do I not? Do I commit to her long term? Do I make this woman my wife? Now, logically, you're going to say to yourself, well, we've dated for a few years. So, clearly this is a long-term partner for me. But in the back of your brain, what's going on, correct me if I'm wrong, is you're going, well, I know that the moment I get married and the moment I have kids, everything's going to completely pull a different direction. The moment you have kids, you're stepping into a different realm. It's no longer the same dynamic as just being in a relationship. Because when you're just in a relationship, let's be real. You're spending time together. You're going out to eat. You're sleeping together. It's just kind of like casual in a sense. But once you bring a child into the world, it's It's completely different. Now you're legally bound by marriage laws. You know, you just brought a human being to the world. You have a tremendous responsibility to raise it right. You have to still keep your relationship with your wife. It's completely different. So, you know, again, going back to what I said before, when guys look at what's happening, because I think most guys do this, they look at other people's marriages and other people's scenarios, and they kind of like observe it. They may not necessarily comment on it or judge it, but I guarantee you most guys are looking at like what's actually going on. And they're going, shit, like this isn't looking good. You know, like why would I do this if everybody else is failing?
You're not wrong. The thing is that with men have more to lose than women.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The thing is that when it comes to laws, the laws are in favor of the ladies. Again, ladies, I know you're going to be
How dare you?
I know you're going to be upset about that, but it's the truth. Mostly the advantage is towards women when it comes to alimony, when it comes to child support. What guy wants to go through that? So when you're talking about consequences in a relationship, you're looking at a guy losing a chunk of his life, what he's worked for, whether it's a house, car, again, alimony, child support, all that effort and time lost just like that. And a snap of a finger, it's insane.
You know, I'm going to make a bold statement, and I don't really care what people think, but I think in modern society, in modern times, modern dating, I think marriage for most guys will be a tremendous, massive mistake in their lives. Unfortunately, this isn't to say that I don't like the idea of marriage or the idea of having a family and kids. That's not what I'm saying at all. But unfortunately, based on stats, divorce rates, so on and so forth, the repercussions of divorce, I think for most guys, you know, considering that there are going to be a certain percentage of guys that will stay married and have a happy relationship, a very small percentage, but considering 50% of guys will get divorced and 100% of those guys are going to have to pay child support, take the risk of having their kids taken away, deal with a psychopathic ex-wife that's going to like talk bad about him. Because like, let's be real, the woman you marry is not the same woman you divorce. If you get married, you take that risk. When you get divorced, she's not going to be that kind, romantic, you know, feminine woman. Now she's your enemy, and in court she's your enemy, and she's going to say and do everything to get it her way, to make you look like the bad guy. And that's just the reality of it. That's not my opinion. So it is what it is, you know. You could say guys have commitment issues. I think that women have commitment issues. I think that women have too many options nowadays, and that they're in a mental state where they just don't know what they want.
The thing is that everything is transactional, even relationships. So the thing is that when you're with a woman, you're looking at women are the ones that give sex, but men are the ones that give relationships and marriage. So we're looking at what? We're looking at women doing what it takes to get that guy committed or to get that guy bound by marriage. And then once that man is committed or in a marriage, it's
relationships have always, since the beginning of time, been transactional, and they will always be transactional. It's the man giving something to get something, and the woman giving something to get something. It's always been that way. It will always be that way. So let's end the episode on that note. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to check us out on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Follow all our pages. We have content coming out. We have shorts coming out twice a week now, and we have full videos coming out in May, so keep a lookout for those. Our full 30-minute episodes are coming. Be patient. We'll see you guys soon.
We'll be on Rumble, guys, as well, so make sure you check us out on there. And again, we're just beginning, so make sure you support our channel, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. You won't be disappointed.
See you guys soon.